And this month we're talking about inspire. You would think that all you need to inspire leaders is passion and creative ideas. But the challenge in today's day and age is we are trying to inspire leaders and young leaders, and we're not doing it in a vacuum. We're doing it in a culture that is continually pushing against, in the opposite direction, the things that we're trying to inspire leaders about. So I just wanted to pick one area this morning and say, here's an area where I passionately want to inspire leaders, and yet there's such a pushback. And that area is to inspire leaders on the importance of just consistency and faithfulness. Just having the ability somewhere inside of you to get up every day and just do the same thing and do it right and do it over and over and over. We live in this culture of 15 minutes of fame, and we have pushed against the discipline of consistency and created an environment where it's not about the plodding along, it's about waiting for that one superstar moment, just that one break, that one 15-minute of fame that you can step in, as opposed to the discipline of just, you don't have to be a superstar. You just need to do the same thing, the right thing, every day, just moving along. A couple of weeks ago, you may have heard about this guy, James Robertson. Every day, he walks 21 miles round trip to work in Detroit, Michigan. And he started talking about what that means in practical terms. He said it takes him 4 hours to walk to work. He works an 8-hour shift, and then he walks 4 hours home. We're talking about 4 hours there, 4 hours back through the toughest parts of Detroit, Michigan. He talks about how he walks through the 8-mile area of Detroit, the tough areas. About how he starts his day walking just before 4 a.m. Starts his job at 8, works till 5, walks 4 hours home, gets up and does it all over again, and he hasn't missed a day of work in 10 years. Long story short, this young college kid went online to try to raise, I think it was $19,000 to buy him a car. They ended up raising over $400,000 for him, relocated him to a better part of town. But can you imagine the discipline that says, you know what, I'm going to do this every single day? How do we get that kind of discipline and passion inside of leaders that says, this is the right thing to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be consistent? Probably one of the best untold Olympic stories. Dave Waddle was the 1972 800-meter Olympic gold medal champion. The amazing thing about Dave is nobody thought that he really should even be a runner. He's one of those guys that are just so tall and lanky. He didn't even know that you're not supposed to take your golf hat off for the Olympic medal. I mean, he forgot to take his hat off in the gold medal race. He just didn't know. Nobody thought he was going to win. Nobody thought he had a chance. And I want you to hear the announcers as they talk. They're talking about all of the other runners, about how Dave Waddle doesn't have a chance, shouldn't even be in this race. And in fact, they are about 200 meters into the race, they're saying, well, he must be hurt. He is so far in last place, this guy must be hurt. And they start talking about, does he have any kick left?
Is going for the lead right now. Uko, the other Kenyan, on the inside, and Waddle is way back exactly where he was in the semifinals.
We don't know right now whether he's just trying to stay out of trouble. It'll be a few more 100 yards before we know if Dave is seriously injured or really just lagging back to stay out of trouble. He's not too bad because it was quite a fast pace through that first 200 meters. And as we said, here go the Kenyans charging for the lead, coming up to the bell lap, Boyd and Uku.
Okay, and right with him is Andy Carter of Great Britain, Dieter Fromm of East Germany. Those are the four right now. They're on the bell lap. The split is 52.3.
If Dave could just pull up here and get on the outside of Arzanov, he would have him boxed in perfectly. Let's hope Dave makes a move down this back stretch.
The Kenyans running like a mirror reflection of each other. In first and second, Fromm
there he
right
goes.
there with him.
There's Arzanov from the Soviet Union going up to the lead now.
There goes Arzanov, the favorite, taking the lead. Dave Waddle is making his bid. He's not in too bad position right now.
I think Dave's in great position on this. At this point, he's in perfect position on the outside. Good striking distance for this last 100, 200 meters.
Stand by for the kick of Dave Waddle. If he's got it, he could make it. But he's got to catch Arjanov and the Kenyans. And here he comes. This is the bid for a gold medal of Dave Waddle. He's got one Kenyan.
I think he's going to get it.
Make it. I think he did it. Dave Waddle won the gold medal. The man who came out of nowhere in the U.S.
Here's something they didn't discover until weeks later when they began to analyze the video. Dave Waddle's 200-meter splits, his 4 200-meter splits, every single one of them was literally identical. He never had a kick. He never changed his pace. He never changed his stride. He had the same first 200 meters as he had the last 200 meters. He knew his pace. He knew that to run his race, to run his pace, had nothing to do with the person on his left, the person on his right. You see, it's not about coming up with that kick. We hear it all the time, you know, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, but this is pretty powerful, that here was a guy, and they say it's never been done since, that somebody was so confident in their ability to be consistent that out of the gate, he just ran 200 meters, 200 meters, 200 meters, 200 meters. Wasn't worried about the one on the left, wasn't worried about the one on the right. And to be able to inspire leaders and challenge them and say, at times that you don't feel like you're making progress, you have to trust your pace. At the times that you don't feel like you're going to win, you need to trust the fact that there's discipline in consistency. When you don't feel like you've got enough left at the end to make a kick to win, you don't need to find a kick at the end. You just need to do the right thing day in and day out. You just need to be consistent. You know, Galatians 6:9 tells us, do not grow weary in well-doing. The reason that's in there is because Jesus knew we would grow weary in well-doing. So let's not get tired of doing what is right, because at just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. In the middle of a culture where it's telling leaders, look for your 15 minutes of fame, in the middle of a culture where it's telling leaders, if you don't think it's going good, shift and go here, shift and go here, shift and go here, there's got to be people that rise up and inspire leaders and look at them and say, don't grow weary in well-doing. Be consistent. Because if you faint not, your pace doesn't have anything to do with the person on the left or the person on the right. You keep the pace that God has called you to. Don't worry about the superstar, the stardom, or your 15 minutes of fame. If you faint not, you will reap at the exact right time.